You are listening to Pharmacy, IT, and Me, your informatics pharmacist podcast. Welcome to another episode of Pharmacy, IT, and Me, and as with every episode, we start off this one stating that the intended audience for this episode are newcomers to pharmacy informatics. Alright, so for today's episode, it's not going to be technically an information-heavy one, but rather more of an opinionated one. And because of that, it will not be a long episode since I'll just be addressing one question. So one of the most common questions that I get is why would a pharmacist be necessary in the field of healthcare IT or health informatics? So some of this is addressed in other interviews that I've posted on this podcast where I talk to other pharmacists who have a contribution to the healthcare IT side. However, when someone asks me this question, my answer is that pharmacists have a unique perspective on the medication use process. Again, pharmacy informatics and pharmacy IT are focused on leveraging existing or newer technologies for the overall improvement of patient care. The reason why pharmacists are so well equipped to be key individuals in this is because of their unique placement in the healthcare workflow. We work with nurses and providers in the workflow and in the medication use process, so we know what steps are available to optimize and improve. So technologies like computerized provider order entry, barcode and medication administration, clinical decision support, automated dispensing cabinets, smart pumps, and others are all used to affect and improve certain steps of the medication use process. And I went over a little bit more about this on the previous episode, focusing on just the medication use process. Furthermore, pharmacists are also already used to being a translator of sorts between a patient and a provider, so they have the skills to be speaking multiple languages, if you will. In that sense, pharmacists can be great liaisons between the pharmacy department and the information systems department, should they become pharmacy informaticists. The translation of one set of instructions from the clinical side over to a set of instructions for the technical side, it does require some skill and care. And these are the traits that pharmacists usually possess. So you would want someone in the health IT side to be able to speak both the clinical language and the technical language to be the most effective. So speaking of being a liaison, pharmacists are also typically used to working in teams. Their skill at being team members in a larger workforce will bode well in the transition to an informatics pharmacist. As a pharmacist who works in informatics, there may be a lot of meetings in which they have to be working interprofessionally with other departments in the health system, or they may be working with clients from different hospitals, or they may be even working with different vendors for implementation projects. Their experience in being part of a clinical team every day would contribute to their success as a team player in the natural interprofessional nature of being an informatics pharmacist. Also, a pharmacist's attention to detail will be a great skill to have when working on long-running projects that need rigorous testing and training. Building new systems will need to address nearly every workflow out there that's kind of common to an everyday health system. And since pharmacists not only have a knowledge of the workflow, but they also have a built-in skill of attention to detail, they'll contribute greatly in this aspect. So yeah, those are my answers as to why a pharmacist would be necessary when discussing about how to staff an effective healthcare IT or healthcare informatics team. Overall, it's mostly because the unique pharmacist perspective touches upon a lot of the healthcare and clinical side as a whole. And just as pharmacists are essential in patient care workflows, pharmacists are also essential in the healthcare informatics world. So alright, if you like this episode, you guys can subscribe and rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or any of your other favorite podcasting services. You can also follow us on social media on Twitter or Facebook at PharmacyITme, or our Instagram at Pharmacy Informatics, or you can send me an email at tony@pharmacyitme.com. And you can follow me on my personal Twitter account at TonyDowPharmD. And I also want to plug a great networking opportunity through Pharmacist Connect. It's a Slack workspace for vetted individuals who have a license. So that's pharmacists, pharmacy technicians, pharmacy students. And it's a great networking opportunity, great place. I met some great colleagues on there, and there's different channels of specialties, and there's also an informatics space. So you can find out more by visiting pharmacistconnect.com. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of Pharmacy IT and Me. And remember, technology is a tool, patient care is the goal.